All right, welcome back to Time Attack. So we are only 20 minutes behind schedule. We've made some amazing progress to rein that back in, and we are ready to dive straight back into the action. This is now Time Attack Practice. For those of you who were watching this morning, thank you very much for coming back for practice, as well as having enjoyed the warm-up earlier on. On track right now are our Clubman, Pocket Rocket, and Classic and Retro cars. I could think I saw a few specks of rain on one of these cameras just a second ago, that'll make for some interesting watching, I'm sure, if that situation does develop further. As things stand for now, the circuit is dry. It's cloudy, but it's been threatening to rain, but nothing really having appeared yet. We had a bit of rain last night, I think a bit of rain in the morning. The circuit was a little bit soggy earlier on in the day, but it's looking like it's getting increasingly dry now. The camera's just following Paul Waddington around in that Team Confusion Ford Fusion. Let's see who comes over this hill now. Oh, no, nobody. Okay. Chris Butcher then in the Lexus ISF Clubman Plus machine, the number 82 car. Actually, one thing that's intrigued me on this machine is it's got what looks like tail lights off a newer model. I don't know if the ISF got a midlife refresh, a bit of a facelift, but I thought it had that older style tail light throughout. So if those of you in the comments who are watching, if any of you are Lexus ISF specialists, please do jump in and let me know your thoughts. Why does Chris Butcher's car have newer looking tail lights? Oh my goodness, something sounds pretty windy. Hang on a sec. All right, so just taking a look at the comments here, thank you very much for getting involved in the discussion, as always, or at least as of the past few rounds when I've had the Facebook stream up. Thank you for getting involved. Someone's saying, please give... Where's that gone? I was meant to give out a shout-out to Paul and Debbie, maybe, but that comment's disappeared, so I'm not too sure. Oh, dear. Don't know where that is. Anyway, somebody's saying, do the rain dance, Alexei. The mighty Fusion wants some wet and slippery conditions. Well, I must remain impartial at all times, so I will not be getting involved in the weather. As much power as I do have, I'm going to have to refrain this time because I want to keep things nice and fair. If it does happen to rain, then that should play into the hands of Team Confusion. Chris Atkins there saying, give a shout out to Paul and Deb, who traveled down this morning to watch today. We will be out at Donny. Strong arm emoji. That's what I like to see. Eden Young there off of GizFab saying, can I get a hoo yeah? Hoo yeah! Big up to the commentator too. Ben Neil Robinson couldn't make this round. He is on our entry list. So Ben Robinson, you may remember having competed in a Noble M12. This year, previous years, having parked up the Noble briefly and jumping into a Volkswagen Golf Cup car as well, he considered bringing his Yaris GR and doing a single round entry. He's let me just to mention that I may also be a fellow GR owner soon. Not the Yaris, though. So, Ben, would have been good to see you in the Yaris GR. Just couldn't make it happen. I mean, this Anglesey is a pretty tricky venue to get to. Track looks great and lots going quickly. Big up to the commentator. As always, thank you very much for that feedback, good and bad. I welcome all of it. Is the new Norris Designs Evo there today? Yes, it is, Anthony. You'll be pleased to know. Antonio Giovinazzo there in the Alfa Romeo 155, one of today's two classic and retro entries. This car has been around in Time Attack for as long as I can remember. This number 27 machine, really bringing back those late 80s and early 90s DTM vibes. You may remember when Alfa Romeo were involved in the DTM when that was a far more exclusive affair than it is today. Now it's a bit of a free-for-all. Anything that's GT3 can be entered. Back in the day, it used to be a lot more of a specific kind of niche, and yet Alfa Romeo, if I remember correctly, entered a car that didn't look too dissimilar to that, or, you know, all kinds of other touring categories. So Antonio Giovinazzo there and his team, 3GS Motorsport, really channeling those old-school touring vibes with that Alfa Romeo 155, one of two classic and retro machines that are represented here today. Currently, let's have a look at our timing screens. Again, those of you watching along at home can bring up TSL timing and see all of the same timing stuff that you yourself have. Actually, I'm not in the timing, not in the commentary box today, which is where the timing screens are located. I am in a separate location where I have the TSL timing up on my laptop. So literally the same information that you could get on your screens is up on my screen, literally one and the same. So if you want to like mute me and just do your own commentary, then absolutely please do that. You can have all of that information at your fingertips. Currently running fastest of all then is Andrew Kime with a 118.5 in that Citroen Saxo. He was very quick earlier this morning in warm-up. He's very quick now in practice. Bearing in mind that warm-up and practice do not score any points. There he goes. He goes quicker still with a 117.1. Andrew Kime absolutely flying in that little mean machine, that pocket rocket Citroen Saxo. Time Attack veteran is Andrew Kime. He has been around for absolutely yonks in that car, really redefining what can be done with the Citroen Saxo chassis. And there we go. He's just going around there. Now, you may remember another Citroen Saxo from back in the day. So if I'm not mistaken, I'm just going to bring this up because I think I remember seeing pictures of another Citroen Saxo, but I can't find that right now. Wait, hang on. Here we go. Yeah, I think so. Stuart Summers did recently share. So he's another Time Attack, one of the old guard. And he's just shared some pictures of his Saxo. So hopefully we're going to be seeing the Saxos making a bit of a comeback, both at the hands of Andrew Kime, who's here right now. Maybe Stuart Summers, we can look forward to seeing him back in the ring. Who knows? Who knows? I called it, though. So if it does happen, you owe me a $5. Someone, whoever's watching this. Michael Birch in the Honda Civic, second fastest so far, the 119.8 in that old school EK EJ Civic. I've recently been learning a little bit about how the classification works, whether it's an EK or an EJ. I thought only EKs were Type Rs were EKs and everything else was an EJ. Since learned that I'm actually wrong. So I don't know what the difference is. I know that an EJ3 is 1.4. What is Michael Burke's machine? I don't know. Michael Birch's. But I do know that it's very fast, and it's the Tegua Racing machine. Second fastest overall. Second fastest in Pocket Rocket with a 119.8. And then we have Andrew Hawes in the Tarox Racing Mini Cooper. Now, on your screens, you can see the number 170 machine of Owen Hillman, the Pro Alloys Mini Cooper S, single round entry for today, so not eligible for any of those big championship points. But I've seen him do a few single round entries so far, has this car and Owen Hillman. Let's take a look then at Tim Bedford in that Mazda RX-8. Some of us, you can see the two clouds of little puffs of smoke from the back of that thing, that rotary engine then, presumably burning oil as they do. Of course, a rotary ownership, and especially doing track days and competition in a rotary, is a very acquired taste. So big up to Tim Bedford for doing that. He used to compete in a Subaru Impreza in our Pro Extreme class, or maybe it was Pro 4-wheel drive, I don't remember, but it was a very different animal to this, and this was actually his daily driver. My understanding is that this is a mostly standard Mazda RX-8, the only difference being that it is now on coilovers, possibly even BC Racing from what I understand. And there you go, it just made the jump from daily driver to time attack car. Has this Mazda RX-8 with Tim Bedford at the wheel. Tim Bedford, we haven't yet seen any sideways shenanigans from this guy. Until now, we have really come to know and love him for his very aggressive driving style, but aggressive in a way that's also completely controlled. Sometimes when a driver is getting a little bit hairy, a little bit sideways, whilst putting in the fast laps, you think, is this person really in control of what's going on, or are they perhaps driving beyond their means, beyond their limits? But actually, Tim Bedford, he is in control always, absolute car control specialist. But really looking to make the most of the grip, it seems, today. I haven't yet seen him get any oversteer anywhere, so perhaps whatever it is, whether it's his tire pressures, tire sizes, chassis setup, or perhaps just driving style, he seems to be really riding a different wave today at Anglesey. Perhaps inspired by the many ways that the Irish Sea is throwing up at us right now. It is very windy. It's kind of cold, a little bit damp as well. You get that mist from the sea coming. It's a really challenging, I think, conditions to drive in. Just in terms of like just being here, you know, you really need that seafarers, you know, marine captains, weathered skin to put up with these weather conditions today. It's definitely very chilly and very grey. Chris Butcher there in the Clubman Plus Lexus ISF. You could just hear that V8 burbling away into the distance. The sports saloon of choice, definitely for me, definitely for Chris Butcher, and I'm sure for many other car connoisseurs. You will know that really anyone can get a BMW M chassis or a Mercedes AMG, but a Lexus ISF, that is a left field thinking person's choice. So great to see that. That is also his daily driver. And yeah, we're seeing a lot of that today, both in Clubman and in Clubman Plus. You know, that's the thing. These classes don't allow for much scope for modifying. And most people, like you and I, can only afford to own and run so many cars, right? So for a lot of people, their daily driver is also their time attack machine, at least in these classes. It was the same for me back in the day. Stuart Summers there, good to see you watching the stream. Greatly appreciate the mention. I will be back with the Saxo. Yes, there we go. I definitely hope that comes to fruition. I remember back in the day when I was just starting out in time attack commentary back in 2014, 2015 or so, and I did call that car Clio, and it upset many people. I was young and naive, and I just thought, look, little French hatchback, little French hot hatch, it's all the same thing, Clio, Saxo, whatever, 205. These days, of course, I'm much wiser in the way of the spicy French little piquant track day machine. So there we go, Stuart Summers in that Saxo. Hopefully we'll see him back. Let's have a look then. 1 minute of this session remaining. Andrew Kime still at the top, riding that wave. So really having set the pace in warm-up, still setting the pace in practice now as well. You can just see him there catching up to the back of Tim Bedford. The lap timer there at the bottom of your screens coming up. There we go, Andrew Kime getting a little bit too eager there. That little short wheelbase Saxo just wanting to come around itself, as short wheelbases are wont to do. And Andrew Kime then doing well to keep everything under control. Perhaps, considering he was hot on the heels of Tim Bedford, perhaps some of that rubbed off on him and he felt he needed to get a little bit sideways too. Of the two drivers, I'm surprised to see that it's Andrew Kime who's been getting sideways today. But he did well to collect that. This lap is one for the bin with 10 seconds of this session remaining. I don't think we're going to see Andrew Kime improve on his lap time so far, so that leaves him currently first. Fastest overall, first fastest in Pocket Rocket with a 117.0. Michael Birch there second in that Honda Civic with a 113.3. As the checkered flag comes out, then we have Andrew Hawes with a 120.9. Paul Waddington in that Ford Fusion with a 120.9 again. So very close between these two. They are in different classes, though. Then we have Chris Butcher in the Lexus ISF with the 121.0. Then we have Stuart Tranter in the Retro Racing Rover 220 Tomcat with a 122.2. Then we have the single round entry of Owen Hillman in the Pro Alloys Mini Cooper S with a 122.3. Oh my god, hang on, phone's ringing. Then we have Tim Bedford in that Mazda RX-8 with a 122.4. Stephen Wilkinson in the Renault Clio with a 125.8. There we go. That's him on your screens now, Stephen Wilkinson. Then we have Tom Moon in the Subaru Impreza wagon with a 126.7. Then we have the number 60 machine of Clive Hopwell, the MMT Performance Mini Cooper S. And then we have Nick Stott in the other Mini Cooper S. And then finally we have Antonio Giovinazzo in the Alfa Romeo 155, making a lot of progress, so gaining about 5-7 seconds since warm-up with a 137.3. So there we go. That rounds up our running in our Clubman, Pocket Rocket, and Classic and Retro classes. Shortly we will be kicking off with our Club 2-wheel drive and Club 4-wheel drive. Yep, so there you go. Those are your results, ladies and gentlemen. So, Time Attack, Clubman, Pocket Rocket, Classic, and Retro results now up on your screens. So just drink those in, and we'll be kicking off with our club sessions next. There you go, Pocket Rocket up on your screen then. So Andrew Kime, like we were saying, like we were discussing just now, still remaining on top, really setting that pace here today. Pocket Rocket, a pretty competitive class, but Andrew Kime so far seems to have that one in the bag, at least in these first two sessions, by some considerable margin. So it'll be interesting to see how that develops throughout the day. Of course, this is only practice, this is only warm-up, so it's unlikely that any of these drivers are really going hell for leather. So once the day progresses, we'll hopefully see them turning up the wick a little bit more. There you go, those are the machines of Andrew Hawes and Antonio Giovinazzo, the Alfa Romeo 155, and that Mini Challenge 210, a rare machine indeed, only 210 of these made. Yet we have one of them gracing us with their presence at Time Attack today. In the background, I did just see, it just distracted me there, that Ford Puma. Speaking of connoisseurs' choices, that is a yep, that is a specialist machine. You can just see its little headlights and bonnet poking in. Never mind. Let's look at the actual cars that we're here to look at today. So there you go. The Time Attack, Clubman, Pocket Rocket, and Classic and Retro machines making their way back into the Anglesey pit lane just in time for our Club 2-wheel drive and Club 4-wheel drive machines to make their way onto the track. Timing screen has been cleared. So, I'm going to have a sip of water, and I will be right back with you once the session goes live. So while we wait for that next session to get underway, let's perhaps take a look at some of these comments we've been getting. What have you guys been saying? Let's wait for these to load up. Umar Masood. Oh my goodness, this guy. I have not seen him in ages. So Umar, those of you who've been around Time Attack for a while, he's kind of like, you know, we've got Antonio Giovinazzo today, a few other drivers. So Umar is like of that era. He is old school Time Attack. A lot of you might remember him from running that FD 3S chassis RX-7. Super, super cool. And good to see him getting involved on the comments there. Let's have a look. So Ben Robinson, then, he was asked how come he hasn't been getting involved today. So Ben Robinson with that Noble M12. So is anything wrong with the car? No, he's just overcommitted this weekend. The team couldn't make it. But he will be back for Donny, hopefully going flat through Craners, so that'll be good. Matthew Roberts there saying, good luck, Jonathan Ellsworth and Team JJE Racing in the Caterham. Stood watching you in this howling wind, cheering you on. Oh my goodness, that is serious fanboy vibes. Thank you very much for joining us at the track, Matthew. Great to see you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching the stream, even though you're here at the track. You are watching it as God intended, really. Got all the information in the palm of your hand and the real-life action right before your eyes. What more do you need? Unless you're just standing somewhere windy, just generally, not even here. But if you are here, I appreciate the double feed, both through real life and through your phone. That's cool. Matt Wilson saying, good luck to another 210 owner. Go Andy. Okay, so I was just saying that these are rare, and now we've got like 2 people owning these. So like, how rare are these? Umar saying, hopefully I'll be back soon in my FD. Yes, please. That would be good to see. We haven't had an RX-7 in Time Attack for a little while. I don't think we've had one this year. We definitely had one last year. Scott Carruthers' machine, Honda K20 powered, if I remember correctly, but we have not seen one this year. So currently it is Tim Bedford only, to my knowledge, flying that rotary flag. So the timing screens have now refreshed. Let's see what's going on. So, well, what's going on is everyone's still on their outlabs, so that's not terribly interesting. But just you saw a little bit of those Honda Integras there, the respective cars of Sean O'Mara in the DC2 and James Dover in the DC5, the Delano-built racing machines, 2 Integra Type Rs, and from front engine, front-wheel drive, we go to rear engine, rear-wheel driver, David Dyson in that Porsche 911 GT3, fastest in warm-up. Bearing in mind, fastest in warm-up, you don't get any trophies for that. But nonetheless, hopefully that's a sign of things to come. And you can see it moving around on that suspension a little bit, making the most of that road car suspension, road car ground clearance, really working well and paying dividends here at Anglesey, which, as you can see, is a very uneven circuit, much like Cadwell Park in a way. It's a track that really requires some good, a really pliable chassis. And then you can see Ross Walker in that BMW M4 getting a little bit sideways, a little bit squirrely, moving around a lot. This, of course, also a very, there we go again, getting on that power a little bit early, just warming up those rear tires is Ross Walker in the Ross Sport BMW M4. Another very stiff, very well optimized chassis, and yep, something that should go well here at I was just about to call it Alton Park because they're so similar. Here at Anglesey, you know, combining that sublime M division chassis with that high speed, you know, 6-cylinder M division powertrain coupled to that DCT gearbox. Very, very fast indeed. And you can see both of these cars quite similar in terms of the M4 and that 911 GT3, those Teutonic 6-cylinder track machines, rear-wheel drive. But it looks like Ross Walker then just signaling that he's getting out of the way of David Dyson, who seemed like he was chasing him hot on his heels, but he's gone into the pit lane. Let's have a look at that Neil Greenland in that Mitsubishi Colt. Now, of course, running in 2-wheel drive, having absolutely just walked all over everything in Pocket Rocket. He made that jump. Making the jump also then is Samuel Pickering of Run What You Brung, now making the jump into Club 4-wheel drive. Just getting out of the way of that traffic. You can see his cool-down light on as he allows Hayden King and the Seat Leon through. Sean O'Mara in that DC2 Integra lifting a wheel. Of course, this is renowned by many as one of the best handling front-wheel drive chassis of all time with that factory limited slip differential. This does have the UK or European shape front end, so this isn't potentially quite the full fat JDM version, which was a little more extreme than what we got in the UK, which was a little more neutered. The Japanese market is really open to hardcore stripped back machines, and will pay a premium for that to come from the factory. They were kind of on that train much before we were in the UK. So we have track day specials in the UK nowadays, but even so, we still expect them to come with a radio and stuff like that. In Japan, for a good few decades now, it's been completely cool to just sell hardcore machines like the Japanese spec Honda Integra Type R DC2. The DC5 Integra we never even got in the UK, but the DC2 then, this one looking like the UK model, which from the factory came with a few more creature comforts than its Japanese counterpart. Just behind them is, I got an itchy nose today, sorry about that, Chrissy Martin in that light blue Subaru Impreza GC8 GR Performance entered machine, that Subaru Impreza Classic. So here we have Subaru on Subaru, both of these in Club 4-wheel drive. Sean O'Mara getting out of the way as Samuel Pickering looks up the inside of Chrissy Martin. There we go, just making his way past, headlights ablaze on both of these cars, meaning that neither has to yield track position to the other if they are both on a hot lap. I'm a little confused there why Samuel Pickering has a light. There we go, a little bit of a lock-up there from Samuel Pickering. You can tell he is really on the pace, and I think you could have, I mean, there's a lot of wind noise, granted, but I think you might have been able to hear some turbo chatter there as well, which is pretty fun. So Samuel Pickering there locking up just on this very uneven circuit. So very much like Cadwell Park. And actually, those of you who remember Alton Park last time, there is the Islands Corner as you just come past the Alton Lake. And that often throws a lot of drivers off just because the braking zone is just downhill and bumpy. And we can see Samuel Pickering there the very next round here today at Anglesey also locking up a little bit. It's a tricky circuit to really get right owing to how uneven it is. There we go, then David Dyson and Johnny Fletcher in their respective machines. Let's take a look at some of the times. David Dyson then in that 911 GT3, currently fastest of all with a 1:15.9, putting the legs on Johnny Fletcher in that Vauxhall Astra just behind him. Fletcher currently running 9th overall, 7th fastest in Club 2-wheel drive with a fastest time of 1:18.5, and he gets sideways, manages to pull that together. Great effort there from Johnny Fletcher, but it's a track that's slippery, it's a little bit greasy, it's very uneven, it's very windy, and of course this is doing all kinds of things with the dynamics of your vehicle as you're trying to make your way around. So Johnny Fletcher there aborting that lap, having pushed perhaps a little bit too hard, now backing off, indicating to say, yo, I'm getting out of the way, I'm gonna cool off for a lap before I perhaps attack again next time. See, yellow flag out in front of Samuel Pickering. Do wonder why that is. Jonathan Ellsworth here in that Caterham Supersport. And this is no regular Caterham Supersport either, I will have you know. He very helpfully sent us a little bit of a spec earlier on. Here we go. There it is. So this is entered as a Caterham Supersport F190 because this has now been rebuilt. So it's naturally aspirated 1.6 Ford Sigma engine built by Premier Power Race and Performance, now producing 198 bhp. Brake horsepower, for those who don't know the acronym. Fully forged with forged piston steel rods, port and polished heads, upgraded valves, valve springs, etc. So 200 naturally aspirated horsepower, rev limit at 8,000 RPM, weighing 535 kilos with fluids and half a tank of fuel. So that's dangerously close to 400 horsepower per ton. So a very rapid machine, but not in a class of its own. You know, Jonathan Ellsworth there very much on the pace. So we've got a red flag out. So Natalie Brooks there looks like she's beached across the pit lane entry. You can see she is out of the car. The hazard lights are on. David Dyson just sneaking past there. So yeah, I think that is the pit lane entry. So the marshal's saying, slow down, slow down, slow down. Slow down. Don't just dive into the pits. We got a car stranded here. That is a weird incident. Hang on. So I try to like switch on my motorsport CSI brain. I'm not entirely sure what's going on here. Why the marshal is looking at the wheels? Slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down, says the marshal. You can just see him waving there at people to calm down, just to be careful coming into the pit lane, as there is a car very unusually beached across the pit lane entry. You can see Natalie there. Here we go, waved yellow and rag flags, meaning absolutely slow down. There is a car literally parked across where you need to be going, so please approach with caution. Marshal post number 10. You can just hear that turbo chatter just overpowering the wind. So that's a curious one. Let's have a look at what's going on in the comments. Anybody getting involved? Oi oi, Richard, another 210 owner. Good luck, Andy York in his Ponda 205. See, oh yeah, there, yep, there's Andy York in the Ponda 205. That being reference to the fact that it's a Peugeot that is Honda powered, this one being pushed along by a Honda K20. Awesome practice session, Andrew Kime. Flying bruv, says Steve Hutchins. Absolutely. Oy, Alex D. Demore saying, looking to pop my big power Mark IV Supra in for a round soon. Been a while since one of those entered. Absolutely. I mean, do you guys remember like the heyday of like tuning culture in like the mid to late noughties, when it was all like, yeah, Skyline, Supra, Evo, Impreza. Okay, Evo and Impreza is like, that's unchanged. But we had a lot more. You know, let's bring in a 3000 GT. Let's throw in some rotaries. Let's throw in a Skyline. Let's throw in a Supra. Man, those are the days. Anyway, we are now in 2021, and it will be great to see a Mark IV Supra joining the action. Interested to learn more about the spec, Alex, so maybe if you could pop that into the comments, that would be pretty cool. So there you go. Those are your results from your two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive club class practice. So Natalie Brooks there, 10th, having set a time of 1:23, and then stopping out on track. Mike Butler, very quick in warm-up, didn't manage to set a time. Rob Loftus saying, you can't park there, Natalie Brooks. Yep, that is the case. Adam Knight saying, so somebody asked, is the Norris Designs Evo there today? Yes. Adam Knight there saying, yes, it should be, but I haven't seen it yet. Well, it has been out on track, actually. I don't think it was running extensively, bearing in mind it is its first time in a while, or ever. I'm not sure if this is the same car as... because they've done Norris Designs have done a short wheelbase Evo in the past, and a whole bunch of other Evo stuff. So I'm not sure if this is a new chassis or an evolution of an old chassis, excuse the pun. But whatever way, it has run on track, just not extensively. So let's see how that progresses throughout the day. Coming up, pro classes practice. Andy Stockton watching from sunny Mallorca. Well, this is definitely not that. We do have the seaside though, and incredible views, especially if there's less cloud cover. I've been here on a clearer day, then the views are incredible. So here we go. Alex D. Demore saying, so he's got a Toyota 2JZ GTE 3-liter, as one would expect. Canton 4-liter Accusum. Okay. Oh my. Okay. This is a real. Okay. So I asked for a spec list, and I got a spec list. So let's just try to skim through. Brand new stock crankshaft. Gas load cylinder head. Crower stage 3 race spec cams. Okay, I mean, it's hard to say, because sometimes people think, yeah, I'm gonna do like an intake and exhaust and a stage 1.5 remap, bro, and then they call that big power. So these days, whenever someone's like, oh yeah, I've got a big power Ford Fiesta, and you're like, okay, so I guess you put an air filter and you've taken it to like somebody to do a remap. Cool story, bro. But like, this is a serious build. So if you are watching on, well, I mean, you are watching on your machines, computer, tablet, phone, whatever, go and take a look at Alex Demore's spec list, because this just reads like a dream. Oh my goodness. Greddy, lightweight accessory pulley set, Greddy Kevlar timing belt. It's just, it doesn't stop. It does not stop. Factory Getrag, 6-speed gearbox with billet shifter bushings, lightweight flywheel, triple plate clutch, TRD 2A limb slip diff with TRD diff fitting kit, TRD transmission, blah 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 blah. Oh my god. Serious. Cusco 8-point cage. That is some Justin Kirk saying that is a wallet flex right there. Hang on, and a Cymex Bluetooth module with flush-mounted iPad 6th gen integration. That is a serious build. I really hope we see that soon, Alex Demore, because you can't just drop a build like that and then not drop some lap times. So that'll be good to see. That will be incredible to see. APR carbon fiber wing mirrors, wiperless in the rear. Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, can't wait to see it. I mean, I even question why you're waiting till next year. Like, just bring that now. There we go. So our pro cars are then on track. So let's just take a look. Timing screen has now refreshed. And here we go. Darren Spooner then in the other Spooks Motorsport machine. So of course I did make a mistake earlier on saying that there was only one Spooks Motorsport car. Here today we've got two. We've got that of Andy York and that of Darren Spooner. Darren Spooner in the number 13 Peugeot 205. This one's still Peugeot powered, like the machine of Andy York, which is Honda powered, running the ever popular Honda K20 swap. Here we go. So a few then. So Richard Hampstead also hoping to get his S14 built complete to compete next year. Alex Demore saying it's not quite finished. Alex Demore with that incredible spec Supra. It's not quite finished. Plan is Snetterton round this year. There we go. So here's the Norris Designs machine. For those of you who were asking, the number 9, extremely short wheelbase, kind of like comical looking Mitsubishi Evo. Very, very compact, little chibi style machine. So, yep, great to see Norris Designs back with an actual Mitsubishi Evo. As fun as it was to see Simon Norris throwing it down in a Colt, it's good to see him back in an Evo where he belongs. And, here we go. So let's just take a look. So after Alex Demore shared that incredible build spec, saying, somebody then replying that's an incredible wallet flex, Alex then replying, as we all know, we just never learn, fella. We just never learn. These builds are never ending. I think when you find that car, when you find the car that is like the one, you just stick to it forever, don't you? You know, that becomes your car like for life. And when your car is your car, the spending just reaches a whole new level. Of course, you have the people that take it to the next level. They don't even like that car. They're just kind of like temporarily infatuated with it, and they still blow all of their money ever on a build that they don't even like. They then sell that build at a massive loss and then get another build that they don't really like, and just the cycle continues. The cycle of never-ending financial tragedy is one that goes hand in hand with being a car enthusiast, and especially a track time enthusiast. Here we go then. Chris Cherry going fastest in Club Pro 4-wheel drive. Let me just take a sip of fluids because I've been talking a lot. There we go. So these four-wheel drive machines then just making their way around. So of course we are really only just beginning this session. I believe it might be a little shorter than usual because there's no way we've already done 4 minutes, right? Maybe, who knows. Time flies when you're having fun. So Darren Spooner, fastest of all so far with a 118.1, but we've seen lap times significantly quicker than that. There we go, so he's just gone with a 115.2, and we will see these times fall, I'm sure, even more. Bearing in mind that this is only practice. These drivers aren't pushing very much. This session doesn't count for anything. Simon Norris then going, in a class of 1, fastest in class with a 118.9. So I think Pro Extreme drivers are not yet really on track. So we can see Colin Dord has just entered the circuit in the number 151 machine, and we've also got Paul Doyle in the 245 Subaru Impreza, which we saw running earlier in the morning but not yet during practice. There we go, 10 minutes remaining. So the AKB machine there, the 88 Mitsubishi Evo of Andrew Barber, Evo 9, just making his way around there. And it's great to, I think perhaps the wind has died down or something, but you can start to hear some of these engine noises in the background, which is great. And Andrew Barber there just making his way around. Fastest of all, actually, so he's displaced Darren Spooner just now with a 114.3. So Andrew Barber there going very quickly indeed. There we go. And now he's gone faster still with a 113.1. So we say that these lap times don't count, that it's only practice, that you don't get prizes for practice, but Andrew Barber didn't get that memo, and he is really pushing on a bit with a 113.1. Of course, considering that we haven't even got to the serious lap time situation yet, you know, when you get to qualifying, when you get to the finals, you know, when you're actually got points at stake, that's when the drivers really start to push. So I'm just gonna throw it out there and say, look, I wonder if anyone's gonna get in under the 1 minute 10s. That would be interesting. Who knows? Meanwhile, Andrew Barber then fastest with a 113.1. And it looks like actually we've just had Bradley John leapfrog a whole bunch of people to go second fastest of all. So he's gained 3 places just with that one lap time, the 114.0, fastest sector 1 of anybody, and a fastest sector 2 of anybody, yet he's second. I don't really know what that means. Don't look at the timing screen too much. Just read the vibes. So let's have a look at what you guys have been saying in the comments. Neil Wren, have you... Oh, dear. So Neil Wren had some kind of incident in that BMW, so I think that's kind of all on hold for now. But it was really interesting. It was an interesting project to see that BMW 335i E92 chassis. A lot of people saying that's kind of like the Supra of the future, considering that it's twin turbo, maybe? Twin turbo, 6-cylinder, you know, rear-wheel drive coupe, available as a manual. So a lot of people saying that E92 335i kind of shaping up to be a Supra of the future. That being said, people have been saying that for a while now, and I've not really seen that materialize. So I wonder whether people have tried it. These 335i's, from what I hear, need a lot of work to get them to work on track. Either as a grip car, as a drift car. People are trying both with that chassis. Incredible daily. A 335i would be a superb daily, very fast. But as soon as you start putting it under those track stresses, they don't seem to cope as well. So it'll be interesting to see how people develop that platform. Neil Rand saying he's just been out working on the car, actually. So he will be back, ... soon. Good to see you joining us, Neil. So great to hear and see that you're still part of the Time Attack fold. Let's have a look then. So the number 127 machine of Bradley John, that Mitsubishi Evo 9, who was running and is still running second fastest of all with a 114.0. Meanwhile, Andrew Barber goes faster still with a 112.4. So our drivers managing to find a little bit more lap time. As I mentioned, these sessions aren't officially classified. This is only warm-up and then practice. So even if you were to set a lap record right now, it would not stand. So that's worth considering. It's pretty interesting, bit of trivia for you guys. So that being said, we're going to have to wait until we get to qualifying and then the final to see whether we're going to have any lap records broken. And to see what these drivers can do once they really turn it up to 11. Simon Norris there in that Mitsubishi Evo. The number 9 car back after a Mitsubishi Evo hiatus, having pedaled around Time Attack in a Mitsubishi Colt for a while, which, by the way, was no less entertaining. In fact, watching the two Mitsubishi Colts of Neil Greenland and Simon Norris dominate whatever class they were in was hugely entertaining. But Simon Norris's heart lay in the Evo, and so here he is back in his preferred chassis today in this short wheelbase Mitsubishi Evo 9. Great to see. Let's have a look then. Simon Norris going fastest in class with a 1 minute 16.6, so just finding 2 seconds on his previous lap time. Bearing in mind, of course, that this Pro Extreme Mitsubishi Evo short wheelbase has the potential to be so quick, so quick. But just bear in mind that this is its first event. It's kind of being shaken down here at Anglesey, so it will take a little bit of fine-tuning to get up to its full potential. Meanwhile, Ian Pittman goes fastest of all in Club Pro 4-wheel drive. So Ian Pittman there with a 114.7. Colin Dorward on your screen then in the number 151 machine. The track formula Mitsubishi Evo 9 was very quick throughout the season so far. Where is he on the screen though? Currently, so he's first in Pro Extreme. So just having that battle with Simon Norris there. So Colin Dorward and Simon Norris split by 0.4 of a second between these two. Currently running 7th and 8th overall. Here we go. So Colin, where's he gone? Okay, they've both been. Hang on. And the timing screen's jumping around all over the place. So Simon Norris having found another 2 seconds. Okay. So Simon Norris back in the Mitsubishi Evo, lapping around pretty gingerly during warm-up, is now actually beginning to find some pace, gaining 2 seconds lap on lap. Now 5th fastest overall, 1st fastest in class. Never mind, because Colin Dorward has just gone fastest of all so far today with a 1 minute 11 seconds lap. I did query whether we'll get into the 1 minute 10s and whether that was a distant pipe dream. Colin Dorward getting dangerously close there. He is within a second of cracking under the 10s, and it's only practice. So it'll be interesting to see how that develops. So Colin Dorward then fast all season, and now finally having found that pace again in that Mitsubishi Evo. You can just see it moving around on that suspension as it catches onto the back of the number 68 machine of Paul Wright, the PW Racing Subaru Impreza P1. But meanwhile, let's stay with Colin Dorward in the number 151 machine. You can just see that minimal ground clearance, all of that aero working beautifully. Here we go. Let's see whether he manages to go faster still. Fails to improve in the first sector. Oh, never mind. We lost him. Fails to improve in the second sector. So Colin Dorward there remains first, having been unable to build that lead. Andrew Barber then second of all so far with a 1 minute 12.4. First in class Pro 4-wheel drive. Then we have Bradley John in the Mitsubishi Evo 9. So Mitsubishi Evo 9's occupying the top 3 spots. And then we have Phil, nope, not Phil Reed, the other Reed, Steve Reed in the Mitsubishi Evo 8 with a 114.8. He's running 4th overall, 3rd fastest in Pro 4-wheel drive. And let's have a look at Jeff Kershaw then in the Ford Focus in Club Pro 4-wheel drive, the number 3 machine, currently running 11th overall, 4th fastest in Club in class. Sorry. And you can see there Stuart Sims coming into the pit lane in that lime green machine. And meanwhile, here's Paul Wright in the number 68 Subaru Impreza P1. So we had have we seen Paul Doyle do any laps yet? No. Okay. Paul Doyle was very quick earlier this morning. He has not been out on track in this session, so I do wonder what's going on there. Paul right there, meanwhile, just coming up and over the crest. Let's just follow him through. Here we go, through Siemens. He goes into bus stop. And there you go, past the pit lane entry where we saw the car of Natalie Brooks beached a little bit earlier on. Let's have a look then at the car of Chris Cherry, the Mitsubishi Evo 5. Mitsubishi Evos of all tastes and flavors catered for here at Time Attack. Chris Cherry currently running 8th fastest overall, 2nd fastest in Club Pro 2-wheel drive. Club Pro 4-wheel drive, sorry, just behind Ian Pittman in the Subaru Impreza Type R. But here's Chris Cherry. You can see it moving around under braking, that front end loaded up as it goes downhill and into the braking zone. So that double forward motion, that double front load on the car, dives up the inside of Jeff Kershaw, sees him coming through, leaves the door open, all nice and tidy there. Our drivers navigating the traffic beautifully with 4 seconds of the session remaining, so our drivers who are out on track can finish up their laps. Checkered flag is out. Whew. I feel like that was pretty spicy for a practice session. I wasn't really expecting that. So I was just saying. So looking at the comments on the Facebook discussion, when I was just discussing this 335i being the next Supra, but people perhaps struggling with heat and with the chassis and a few other things whilst out on track. You know, the 335i perhaps proving itself not the Supra of the future as people thought it was. Neil Wrench is saying, nah, they're just idiots. So Neil Wren there feeling bullish with that E92 chassis. Be interesting to see what he makes of it when he is back. There are the results then for our Time Attack Pro practice. So Darren Spooner then ahead of Roman Grandel in Club Pro 2-wheel drive. What a shot. What a great shot, great visual. Ian Pittman there leading the way in Club Pro 4-wheel drive ahead of Chris Cherry, Stuart Sims, and then Jeff Kershaw in Club Pro 4-wheel drive. BC Racing, oh, never mind. Then we have Pro Extreme with Colin Dorwood and then Simon Norris, 3 seconds between these two. And then we have BC Racing Pro 4-wheel drive. Andrew Barber leads the way from Bradley John, Steve Reed, and Paul Wright. So, there you go. That rounds up our Time Attack Pro warm-up. You can see that checkered flag being waved. The final drivers there just claiming that. So, what time is it now? It is. So, we are roughly 20 minutes behind schedule. So, actually, we've managed to keep that pretty constant throughout the day. Hopefully, no more slippages. Time Attack qualifying is back at around 2:35, perhaps a little bit later than that. Let's see how the day goes. But please join me back here for Time Attack qualifying at 2:35 as per the schedule. See you later. Thank you very much.